This is the plaintiff, Lawrence. He says he's an attorney who was hired by the defendant to keep him out of jail on a probation violation. And the obnoxious guy owes him $2,500 for his services and refuses to pay. The defendant owes him the money and he knows it. And he can't wait to see his face when the judge orders him to pay up at the end of this case. He's suing for $2,500 for all he's out. This is the defendant, Barris. He says he fired the plaintiff because the guy wasn't acting in his best interest. He never signed a retainer agreement with him and he owes him nothing. That's right. The plaintiff was stringing the case out for as long as possible so he would go to trial and so he could beef up his bill. Owe him? Ha! He's accused of not lawyering up. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,500 for fraud, misrepresentation, and lost wages.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
All right, Lawrence and Barris, you are a criminal defense lawyer?
Yes.
All right, and you're here to collect fees that you say are owed to you. What is the amount of the fees?
$2,500.
You have a counterclaim against him for $3,500 for fraud, correct?
Correct.
Extortion and loss of wages. Okay, let's hear from you first. What happened?
Well, originally, the defendant was arrested for assault and aggravated harassment, and I believe he had a legal aid or an 18B attorney.
When there's more than one defendant in a case, legal aid will take one,
Right.
and the other attorney, legal aid can't represent both because their interests may conflict. So the other attorney is what's called an 18B, which is a court-appointed lawyer. Okay?
Correct.
And?
All right, the defendant was not happy with his lawyer. The defendant was on probation on another case, and the offers had been a plea to the charge, which would have been a misdemeanor charge, which would have violated his probation. He told in court, he said he wanted to fire his lawyer, he wanted a new lawyer, he was going to go out and hire a lawyer, and I happened to hear him, went outside, introduced myself as a lawyer, been practicing for 40 years as a criminal attorney, and I told him I could help him out if he wished to retain me, and that my retainer would be $2,500.
Okay, how do you say you met him?
I had a legal aid, and they took her off the case because she wasn't coming to the court. And like he said, he was outside the courtroom, overhearing what I said, and he introduced himself to me. I never asked for him. I never hired him.
Well, he went to court with you, didn't he? Or
No. I had a
all
separate
this happened
lawyer.
all in one day?
Yeah, all in one
No.
day. He was like there, just listening. It's like, I guess he heard what was going on, and he thought that was a way to make some extra money, I guess. So
Wait. So then what happens? Do you end up going back to court?
yeah, I went to court, like the next court date.
Okay, and who went to court with you? Who was your lawyer?
I went by myself. I didn't have a lawyer. Even the first lawyer I had, she was never
Did you
coming
run
to-
into him there?
Yeah, I guess.
And then what happened? Then he coincidentally worked on your case?
Nah, then we started speaking about a certain, like, how would I say? He said he was going to retain me. And I said,
No, he's not going to retain you. He doesn't
I mean,
need...
whatever.
He wanted you to retain him.
Exactly. There you go. You want me to
Okay.
retain him.
Yeah.
And that was that. So I said, I can't go about that. Like, I got to see if I could get another lawyer because I had the money. I just wasn't
Wait,
gonna
but
pay
you
him.
just showed up for court and you had told
Correct.
the court that you were going to come back with a lawyer.
Right. But
So-
it wasn't him.
So what lawyer did you come back with?
I came back by myself. I didn't come back with a lawyer to tell him to adjourn it because I was still looking for a lawyer. And he came back. He was at the next court date.
And did what?
Nothing. He kept adjourning the case because they assigned him to me. He kept adjourning the case.
Who assigned him?
The court. I'm trying to tell you, like, I had a legal aid, and then next thing you know,
I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. How did he end up as a lawyer on your case?
she got rid of the case, and they assigned him to me. I didn't ask for him personally. I told you that. And that was that.
Let me ask you a question. How long have you been practicing law?
40 years.
Is there a reason you don't have a signed retainer from him?
Yeah, when I went out into the hallway and talked to him at that time, and I discussed my fee with me, he said fine,
With
and he
him?
would retain me. And obviously, he didn't have the money on him then, so
I didn't ask why you didn't collect then. I asked why
Right.
you didn't get a retainer signed. There was
I didn't have
time
it-
between that court date and the next one, right?
Yes, and I
Right.
prepared one, and he said he was supposed to come to my office and sign a retainer and give me the fee. He did not come to the office. He said, I'll see you in court. And then when he saw me in court and he understood that I arranged,
I don't want to hear what you think he understood. I'm asking you why you didn't get a signed retainer.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Does this lawyer get paid if he didn't have a retainer agreement?
I don't think so. He should have had an agreement and he should have known better.
But he did do the work.
Absolutely not.
Doesn't get paid?
Doesn't get paid.
Why? Because you hate lawyers?
Nah, they're just, if there wasn't a not even a verbal contract, something has to be in writing.
In a way, there was a verbal contract because the guy said, I'll do the work for you, and he did the work for him. Does he get any money?
No, he doesn't. Certain states have verbal agreement contracts, but I don't believe California is one, depending on what state it is, because they no longer really have that anymore.
God, you talk fast.
I know I talk really fast.
Good. Wow. Going inside the courtroom.
He didn't show up at the office at court on the adjourned date, which was February 20th. He said he had the money. I gave him the retainer to sign it. He understood that I got an offer for the disorderly conduct, which is a violation.
But why are you working on it and getting offers for him if he hasn't even signed the retainer?
Because I had the faith that he would actually pay me, and I believed him.
Well, then
All right?
now I don't know how your ears and eyes have been closed for 40 years.
Well,
because
once in a while
you
you
and I
make a
both, I
mistake.
was a criminal lawyer. You and I both know that is ridiculous. That's a ridiculous answer. I don't know why that happened. That's why we're here. We're here because that happened, because you didn't get him to sign the retainer. And now look at him.
Yeah, well,
I
obviously.
don't know what's going on. I told the court I was going to get my own lawyer, and then this bald gentleman just shows up to 3. I didn't hire him. He just shows up to all my court hearings, works out and pleads out my case, but I didn't hire him, Judge. Really?
Seriously, I didn't hire him. Look, I have the retainer fee right here.
Because Lord knows if there's anybody you can trust, it's a guy who's violating his probation with another crime. Yeah.
And you look at the court activity sheet, which I produced as evidence, you see I'm listed there after the 4th appearance as his attorney. Obviously, I wouldn't be on there.
Why
if
were
I
you
wasn't
continuing
retained.
it all those other times?
No. The first time is when I met him and we introduced.
That
The
time you
second
didn't continue anything.
I arranged the plea. He didn't have the money. He refused to sign it. So I had the court adjourn the case.
Just so you could collect your money?
Yeah.
That's a little
It's
slimy.
called waiting for Mr. Green.
Yeah,
You
I
hear
know,
that
and that's
one?
kind of slimy. That's the phrase we used to use in Miami, too.
There you go.
And then everybody's like, wink, wink, and then making sure, that's kind of slimy, But anyway, apparently that worked, and you still didn't get a signature or Mr. Green. And look at you now.
That's right.
That's like, wow.
So I came back the third time, which was February 27th. At that time, he had fired me. Well, the time before he fired me, I got relieved by the
What
court.
did he tell you he was going to charge you, pal?
Look,
Just tell me the truth. What did he tell
$2,500, but
Okay.
he's charging me $2,500 a plea.
And why is it that you feel like you shouldn't have to pay him?
What am I paying for?
What's wrong with what's wrong with him? What is it that he didn't do for you?
Like you said, 1, slimy. He's an opportunist. 2, 3.
All right,
didn't do
let me
anything
just
for
clarify. I did not call him slimy.
No, I'm calling
I
him
just
slimy.
said the phrase Mr. Green
Right.
is kind
And I'm saying that he's slimy.
Okay,
He's
I'm
a slick
sorry. And
snake.
what
Look.
makes you say that?
Like, since I met him, it was all about $1 from the first thing. He never cared about the case. 1, because he never asked me what I was being charged with to the third time he came. And he kept adjourning it every time he came. I was going to court to get adjourned. Then the last time I came, which was February 20th, this is when he handed me this.
What's that?
The supposed retainer fee.
Okay, and then what happened?
We went to court. We went in the courtroom. This is what they said. They pleaded the case down for disorderly conduct, so it wouldn't violate the probation that I have. It's still on currently.
Oh, that was good for you.
Correct.
And then you should pay $0?
Right. Because he didn't do anything for me.
He pled it down to something that
No,
wouldn't violate your
that was
probation?
already the offer from the DA.
No, it was
The
not.
disorderly conduct. I was just going to court from November up until February for no reason. I'm just going there, adjourn.
So why'd you go out? So why'd you even talk to a private lawyer? Why didn't you just take that plea if it was always on the table with the last lawyer?
Listen, the last lawyer wasn't coming to court at all. She had like a lot of cases. I had to run down on her in the courthouse in another courtroom for her to like take herself off the case. I don't know.
So what do we have? We have you admitting that you told the court you were going to hire a private lawyer,
Right,
which
but
is
I
not
did.
what you said in the answer to the complaint. What you said in the answer to the complaint was, oh, he's legal aid. Why is he charging me? Okay, then
That's
we
what I was
have
told.
you speaking to this private lawyer.
Correct.
We have you getting a retainer from the private lawyer. We have you knowing that the private lawyer wanted to charge $2,500 for his services. Then we have you taking advantage of the private lawyer's services by having him assist you in knocking down a charge to something that wouldn't violate your probation. We have you taking a plea with the lawyer, and then your answer is, I never agreed to pay him a penny.
Hold on, can I say one thing though?
Yeah.
You just said it. If he's been a lawyer for 40 years, why did you not get the signature from the jump? I had the money.
Right. See,
I've
there's
always
two
had the
things
money.
that are happening here.
So that's
I
not
think
a-
he's a fool for not getting a signature.
fool.
But I've got to figure out what you agreed to. See, and you can agree to something verbally.
Right.
It's a better practice to get a signature so that I don't have to do this.
Correct.
You see? So it's a better practice to get a signature, but if I think you're a flim-flam man, if
Right.
I think you did hire a private
I
lawyer,
didn't.
and you did talk about $2,500, which you've admitted, and you did see a copy of the retainer, and then you did use his services,
What services?
what do you think I'm going to do?
Can I ask you a question?
Let's talk about your counterclaim against him for $3,500. Tell me about that.
The counterclaim is for $3,500. I missed days of work that I had to take off.
For what?
I do catering.
No, for what did you miss days of work?
I had to come to court to sit there to be adjourned for 15 to 12.
Are you talking about your criminal case that you got arrested on that would have violated your probation?
Correct, but it didn't though. I was never in violation status, ever. Never. If I was in violation status, I'd be in jail right now, which I'm not. And I'm on early release status, so please tell me.
It might have been a better idea if you ended up in jail because I know the prisoners need entertainment.
Not for me.
On your counterclaim, my verdict is 0. On your claim, how many more years have to pass before you just get the retainer signed, before a $2,500 verdict for the plaintiff? I think you agreed to it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's crazy. I agreed to some.
Well, the judge decides the attorney is due his $2,500. Goodbye. Vacated the courtroom. I think you are a lucky lawyer. How about that?
Pretty good.
After
pretty good.
40 years, maybe you've learned a lesson.
Yeah, that's true. Especially with criminals, right?
Yeah, well, get a retainer signed. I think you're lucky. Did you think you were going to maybe walk out with nothing here?
No, I knew I'd win.
You knew you would win.
Sure.
Well, good enough. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Doug, the defendant said that he shouldn't have to pay because the guy didn't do any work for him. But the fact is that the judge is the one that adjourned the case. The plaintiff did do the work.